What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. This is the channel where we cover Pokemon Go news, tips, tricks, tutorials, and all of that sort of information. In today's episode, Niantic hit us with some news in regards to the Holiday 2018 event in Pokemon Go. And I have to say, there is a lot going on with this event, so you are going to make sure that you want to know anything and everything that is going on, whether it is related to the new Pokemon being released, or just the increased spawns, or even the bonuses. There's so much information to cover, but even though there is a lot of information that is said, there's also some information that is not, that is yet presented to us. So I will be saving that for the speculation portion of this video. But with all of that being said, if this video is helpful to you and you are excited about it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So first things first, I would say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. If you go ahead and check this out, we have a lot to unpack just from the picture itself. But like I said before, that's probably going to end up in some of the speculation, especially towards the top of the picture, if you know what I'm saying. Other than that, we can get into the actual text, what we can confirm. First things first, we have Delibird in the title. I think that this is a perfect opportunity to bring back Delibird and then offer a shiny variant. I think people would get excited about Delibird if that was the case. But once again, that is just a little bit of speculation, but it is mentioned. Other than that, we do have an increased spawn rate for Ice-type Pokemon from December 18th until January 2nd. The specific Pokemon mentioned are Jynx, Sneasel, Swinub, Snorunt, Spheal, and Snover. Snover, a Generation 4 Pokemon, evolves into Abomasnow. Now, I would say that this is actually a really good time because now that PvP is out, people will look at some Pokemon that aren't necessarily the highest, like, statistical Pokemon. They could end up having a use in the Ultra League or the Great League, depending on just which one you have. But I do think people are going to be excited about that. I definitely know I am. I think that Abomasnow looks absolutely incredible in this photo. But other than that, we also have something that I think has been requested by just a lot of players in the community, and that is Pikachu wearing a festive hat. Yeah, we don't have enough of those in the game, so we're just going to keep this little trend going. We're not going to go outward, you know, no party hat Wurmple or anything. I think Pikachu deserves like the 15th hat or so. Yeah, no, all jokes aside, if you are excited about that, yeah, here's an image of what that looks like. But other than that, if we move on just past the increased spawn rate, we can actually get into, besides the spawn rate, get into some Pokemon that will be released into some 7-kilometer eggs. Some of them we have seen before, some of them are new. But those Pokemon specifically mentioned are Smoochum, Azurill, and Munchlax. Munchlax, if you are not familiar with it, may look somewhat familiar to you because it is the baby version of Snorlax, Generation 4 Pokemon for Munchlax in this case. But keep this in mind, this is actually a really good opportunity for you because if you want to use this Pokemon to unlock that second charge move, you will get that discount of just using 10,000 Stardust to unlock the move, as opposed to when it evolves into Snorlax, it's going to be so much more. So if you do want to use Snorlax in like battling for PvP, keep that in mind because you can get a major discount. But don't be surprised if you do see some more Pokemon beyond that into the 7-kilometer eggs besides those 3 specific Pokemon, because like I said in the picture, there are some Pokemon that are in the picture that are not really mentioned elsewhere. So I just think this is one of those cases where Niantic doesn't disclose all of them, but there will be probably more than those options. And this is pretty cool, and this is kind of like a low-key thing. If you look at the bottom of the paragraph, you will see that we will actually be able to get a single one-use incubator once per day throughout this entire event. That is quite a bit of free incubators that we can get. All you have to do is spin a photo disc, so you know, your gym or your Pokestop, and you can get yourself a free incubator. So you might as well go ahead and go with it. It won't be a typical 3, it'll just be a 1-use, but at the same time, that's a free incubator for you. So I would highly recommend you to take advantage of that. Finally, if we move on to the next point, now this is where this event gets broken down into 4 different categories, which I do think it's kind of cool how they are doing this, so it'll kind of cater to different players. The first set is from December 18th until December 22nd. Trainers will be able to enjoy double candy for catching and transferring Pokemon. It is kind of interesting that we didn't see that during the Halloween event, yet we are seeing it for the holiday event season. But hey, I'm not Niantic. Up next, we got December 22nd to December 26th, so this will go through the Christmas time period. We have Double Catch Stardust. So yes, people are going to be excited about that. It mentions for powering up Pokemon, but to be honest, it could also be for just unlocking the new charge moves. I think a lot of people are going to be focused on Stardust really for that, since PvP just came out. So the third portion is December 22nd to December 30th. We will be able to earn that double XP for catching Pokemon. So if you are one of those people who's trying to level up, hey, this will be a good time for that. And then finally, we have December 30th to January 2nd. Incubators will be twice as effective. So who knows, maybe this is one of those cases where you could end up holding off on some of those incubators, don't use it until that time period, and since you get half the distance, it won't matter that it's not a super incubator, you would definitely be able to use it, so, you know, might as well keep that in mind since these incubators will be free during that time period. And then for all of you stylists out there, you can head over to the style shop and get yourself some Delibird themed merchandise. Yeah, I know people are very excited about that. If you want to rock those cosmetics, by all means, go for it. So yeah, we talked about everything that is in the actual event, but we might as well go ahead and talk about some of the speculation. And we'll pretty much be using just the graphics sent out to us as just kind of like the main piece. So let's go ahead and get the baby Pokemon out of the way. As you will see, we've got Munchlax on that bottom left, and then we have Chingling. So yeah, very interesting because Chingling was not mentioned, but like I said, I could easily see that being added into that 7-kilometer pocket, just not mentioned, which is kind of interesting because it would be a new Pokemon introduced, but I'm not really sure what's going on with Chingling, why it isn't mentioned, but maybe on the in-game notifications, we end up getting some clarification for that, and if there is any type of update, I'll definitely put it in the pinned comment. Other than that, beyond just the baby situation, we have a Pokemon like Croagunk on the screen. So Croagunk evolves into Toxicroak, Generation 4 Pokemon, yet it wasn't mentioned in the text, so I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work out. Personally, I think what will end up happening is it will probably be released into the wild, or it could just be locked off as a raid boss. That's probably a good way to introduce something, you know, just like kind of a random Pokemon, so Niantic can make that money. But other than that, we don't really know exactly what it's going to be. But it does seem that it will have some type of feature in this event. And then if we move up a little bit, we've already talked about Abomasnow, so, you know, that's just going to be related to the spawn rate. But if we look up a little higher, if we look up into the sky, we will see the Guardian Lake Trio. So these are Pokemon from Generation 4 mythical Pokemon that are like psychic typing or whatever. But this is kind of interesting because there are 3 of them. And because of that, it kind of makes you wonder how Niantic would actually put all of them out. Based on my intuition, regardless of them being mythical, I don't see Pokemon Go doing a type of special research for this. I actually think they could just release them into just the typical raid system. That's just my intuition. By the way, these Pokemon do have different stats than just Mew and Celebi, so they could actually be somewhat useful, especially at some lower league levels as well, so definitely keep that in mind. I'm personally excited about Azelf. I've done a little bit of research on all of these Pokemon in the past, so yeah, I'm excited about them. I'm not really sure exactly how they will be introduced, but just like Niantic typical fashion, they put something in a picture, but we don't necessarily get all the information that we need. And to be honest, that could generate a lot of buzz. I think we're going to see something exciting related to it, or it could even be at the end of the event if we end up meeting some type of goal, but we're just going to have to see. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode. Hopefully it was exciting for you. I want to go ahead and end on a question of the day. When you take a look at this picture on the screen, what Pokemon are you most excited about to see added into the game? Go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this type of content and want to stay up to date on all of the news, get yourself some Pokemon Go tips, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Hit me like a tidal wave, triggered by the aftershock. Hit me like a tidal wave, triggered by the aftershock. Oh, oh, oh.